It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.
Hey, welcome to In the Arena. And welcome to the Arena, brought to you by LifeVac, the simple, proven device saving lives around the world. Hey, when every second counts. I'm Rick Fatscher alongside Pat O'Rourke. Today, we're joined by two voices, or one voice, that doesn't shy away from truth, grit, or uncomfortable conversations. First, Mark Blacknell of stareatthewall.org, a powerful project challenging how we confront trauma, reflection, and personal accountability in a noisy world. And if that wasn't enough, we may hear from Unfiltered radio show host Rhonda Gulch. Straight talk, voice that cuts through the spin. This is where real conversations happen. This is where purpose meets action, and this is In the Arena. Good evening, Patrick.
Hello, Rick.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Pick one. I answered anything.
Again, I've told the story before. He was Rich for the first 6 years I knew him. Then in grammar school, then he changed his name to Rick.
Yeah.
Famous Slick Rick.
Yeah.
Slick Rick.
We
love him.
Big
Yes.
campaign. Big media campaign.
It was.
So listen, have you ever meditated?
I've tried a couple times. I wish I could get into it. Like I've tried yoga and meditating,
Mhm.
and I'm always like looking around at the other people. I guess I have to do it alone, because if I do it with a group, I'm always like, am I doing this right? Am I, I don't have I'm not bright enough to really zone in and meditate. I think.
Well, what you needed is someone to simplify this process for
That's
you.
why I can't wait to talk to this guy.
Mark Blacknell joins us from Vero Beach, Florida. Stareatthewall.org. Bring him on.
Stare at the wall.
There he is.
Yeah.
What did I say?
War.
I said, yeah, the wall. Yeah.
Well, I stared at the war too. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm having trouble speaking this
Don't
evening.
stare at the war. That will not calm you down.
How are you tonight, sir?
Excellent. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
great.
Pleased to meet you.
Doing great.
I liked your intro there. I love the song. That song is so cool.
Pretty catchy, isn't it?
It definitely is.
Yeah,
And
it's taken the country by storm. We're on
Cost
the fastest
some
growing
scratch too.
yeah, it looks like it did.
Mike Rowe is a big shot.
Big name.
Yep.
Big name. And we're not even sure we're clear to use that song.
Well,
he did it.
He wrote it for us. Yeah.
So we could use the attention, Mark.
Yes. Paris Hilton.
Nothing like a good lawsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any press is good press, I guess.
So
That's
Mark,
what Howard Stern said.
Yep.
yes. Yeah. So bring us back. How did you first? We know. Thank you for your service. We know you're in the Marine Corps, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how did that go?
Well, let's just say that was difficult.
How long were you in?
I was in for 4 years.
Okay.
And I was an enlisted grunt.
Out of high school, what was the?
There's a little story there. I worked for the Teamsters first under Jimmy Hoffa Jr. out of high school. So I was a Teamster, loading the trucks up
Right.
early in the morning, like 3 a.m. And then there was this guy that I work with named Little Sween. And there was nothing little about Little Sweeney.
Yeah.
And he
That's
said,
how they name you. If you're huge, they call you tiny.
yeah, Little Sweeney. So he said, hey, Mark, you know a lot of people, man. You want to sell some football pools? I sell football pools. And I was like, yeah, I'll sell some football pools. Back then, there was no legalized gambling. There were these pools. It was like a parlay, and you could go all the way up to like 10 teams.
Betting cards.
Yeah.
The betting
I
cards.
remember Larry Fox had those in our school.
My mother dominated with them, but we did the same thing. You hand them out to all your friends and collect all the money.
So the bottom line is that I did pretty good. And Little Sween one day said, hey, I want to introduce you to my dad, Big Sween.
It's got to be if there's a little Sween, it's got to be a big Sween.
There's a Big Sween. And then,
was he tiny?
Pardon me?
Was he tiny, or was he also
No, he was bigger than Little. So that's why he was Little Sween, because Dad was actually bigger.
Gotcha.
And then Big Sween said, hey, man, here's how it works. You could take some bets. You could be, a bookmaker for me. You could be on my team. And I think he said crew. But he said, and here's how it works.
You want to be part of a crew.
I always wanted to be part of one. I was a little freaked out, but it seemed so, I don't understand, normalized. You know, it didn't seem, now that I look back, it's a little different, but then it wasn't that big of a deal to me. And I was like, sure. And he told me the deal, you know, I get 50%. If they win, if the bettor wins, he pays the whole thing. And then I owe him 50% from future winnings. And I said, sure, I'll do it. And then he gave me a book of rice paper. Rice paper dissolves in water. He said, put all your bets on the rice paper. So if the police come, you can just flush it down the toilet. And he told me not to flash my money. It was right out of a movie.
Yeah.
Just like Goodfellas. Yeah. Don't buy a pink Cadillac, you know.
I know what you're
No
saying.
coats.
It seemed innocent enough. You know, you were just out of high school. We had a guy named Walter.
Victimless
cards, and we'd bring him to we collected from all you guys, but he gave us like, I think we just got 10% of whatever we bought in. So we weren't involved in the winning, losing part, but that's how it evolves. Just like drugs or anything else. Like, yeah,
exactly.
So we used to do that. Yeah. My mother was great at it. And they always was like,
at picking winners.
Yes. Well, she had rules. Ken Stabler had a beard. I don't bet on him.
Wow.
If he shaves, I love him. Never bet on the Cowboys because that's where Kennedy got killed. Always bet on Notre Dame. And then the biggest underdog on the card, always bet because God doesn't like bullies. So say you were underdogs by 49, you know, Temple against like Ohio State, she would take Temple. And they would usually cover.
Hey, it works.
So the bookies were all like, who is this Jean LaFleur? Her name was Jean. They go, well, he should bet more. He's really good. I'm like, it's my mommy. But yeah, the betting cards.
Did it ever escalate for mom?
No, she would bet 4 games. That's it. That's when they were like, why doesn't she bet 5 or 6 games? And she, I mean, winning a lot is 3 or 4 times a year. You know, back then I think it was 14 weeks, and she'd win 3 or 4 times. And that was like, you know,
that's good.
That's why they're bookies. They win all the time. So
the house.
But I'm sorry, I'm stealing your time. Go ahead, Mark.
No, that's fine. You hit the nail on the head. So every week I'd have to square up at the Lamplighter Tavern in Havertown, you know, and he would be in the back with his boys, and I would square up with them. But I was getting paranoid. I could not take the pressure.
Yeah, at first, it's cool at first. You're like, oh,
the financial pressure or the fact that it might be something wrong?
Everything.
All of it. Yeah. Law enforcement. And then I realized, you know, Big Sween has a boss, and Big Sween's boss is Italian. And I started hearing who this guy really was. And I was like, man, I got to get out of this. So me and my friend Mike Mortimer, God rest his soul, he's passed away from heroin. Him and I were driving back from the loading dock, and we were smoking pot. And I looked over and I saw these Marines in their dress blues out in the parking lot, you know,
doing the drills and
the colors.
Okay.
They were raising the flag up in the morning. And I just pulled the truck over. I was driving, and Mike said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm joining the Marines."
Wow.
And he laughed at me. He said, "Yeah, you're joining the Marines." I said, "Watch." I pulled over. I waited till they were done, and I walked up to him and said, I want to join the Marines." And they said, "Yeah, right. You want to join the Marines?" I said, "No, I really want to join the Marines, and I want to leave as soon as possible." And they said, "Are you in trouble with the law?" And I said, "Not yet."
Right.
I was gone 2 weeks later.
No kidding.
That's a God wink. That's what Artie would say.
Yeah.
You're lucky you saw him.
Had you always been that impulsive?
I would say so. Yes. Yeah. I joined the Irish mob without even realizing it. I guess that's kind of impulsive.
South Philly or North Philly? Where were you?
This was Delaware County, Delco.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
We consider ourselves part of Philly, but people from Philly don't consider us part of Philly, you know.
Right.
So 4 years in the Marines, where were you? Where did you do your grunt work?
Well, Paris Island, of course, and then School of Infantry. And then I went to security forces training in Quantico, Virginia, which is kind of like high speed type stuff. And then, believe it or not, I went to Iceland.
Wow.
That's
a barracks in Iceland. That was my first duty station. That was kind of spit and polish, you know. We were guarding nuclear submarines.
How long's the tour for? A year? 12
Yeah, it
months?
was for a year.
Okay. Wow.
And then I went to the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and then 1-9, and then I got out. And I kind of feel bad about 1-9 because I got out as they were deploying. And you never, when you're in the Fleet Marine Corps, you rarely know where you're actually going. So they didn't know where they were going. They ended up in Somalia, and I heard it was pretty bad. So I've always felt a little guilty about that. Yeah,
What
right
year?
after that. That was 93.
93 in Somalia. Wow.
So you're out before 9/11.
Yeah. And, you know, I followed my old unit, 3-5, and man, those guys, I just, you know, there's a lot of guilt what they went through. I mean, they did 3 tours in a 4-year enlistment, 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Well, guilt or good luck again. Someone's smiling on you.
Well, you know, you could look at it
Louisiana?
that way. You
Yeah,
could
did-
look at it that way.
Any of them get killed in action or?
Yeah, my Corporal Best. I wrote a song about him, actually.
Oh, you're a musician too.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So I know at some point we're going to get to stare at the wall, practice of meditation and your organization. But where did rock bottom happen for you? And is that what led you to meditation?
Absolutely. I think, you know, I always, when I got out of the Marines, I was a mess. I mean, I was drinking. I went back to college and I felt, you know, like I stuck out like a sore thumb. You know, I couldn't really relate to any of the kids in college. But
Marines also, drinking's part of the culture, right? I mean, you go
certainly is. Yeah. And
old-
I mean, we were in some really hairy situations too, where, you know, my nervous system was really, I thought I was a goner a few times.
So you had you had PTSD from your time.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I didn't know it, and you know, Marines try to push through. There wasn't a lot of awareness back then, but I was drinking, and I had anxiety and panic attacks and depression, and you know, I stared at a 9mm for like 2 years.
Wow.
But somehow, I got good grades. You know, that's the discipline of the Marines. College felt like nothing. Like with PTSD, hungover, it was nothing. It was like, college is easy.
Yeah.
So
where did you go to school?
I went to Clarion University of Pennsylvania, and you guys will laugh if I tell you why. Back then, they had these big books of colleges, and they had the female to male ratio. Clarion University was 79% female.
Why would I laugh at that? That's genius.
That was my pick.
There.
Exactly. And you're drinking. Come on.
Well, and I figured it was a small school, so I could get all the scholarships and interns, which I did. I got a lot of great scholarships. I studied at the University of Sydney, Australia.
Oh, that's
I worked for the House Democrats. Sorry, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, wasn't as crazy as it is now, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Everybody kind of in the legislative body, you know, everybody worked together.
Was that
everybody? There were deals, lots of deals, you know.
Yes. Still, it seems that deals rule the day.
Not really. They just don't do anything with it. They get nothing done. They just hate each other now. It's crazy.
Well, I ended up working for the governor of Pennsylvania after my master's degree, and that was Ed Rendell. I don't know if you remember Fast Eddie Rendell. So I got another glimpse of all that, you know, there in Harrisburg. It wasn't for me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what were you doing when you had this turnaround of it? Was it an epiphany? Was it a process? It wasn't as quick as when you joined the Marines.
No, it was in Maui. I was living in Maui. And my wife at the time.
How'd you get to Maui? Wait.
Oh, wait. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to this story.
Working for the governor.
All right. So I'm working for the governor, and I was very unhealthy. I was drinking. I was eating cheesesteaks every night.
Had to go to Maui?
A little.
I'll tell you how I got there. So I came home from work one day, and I was channel surfing with a beer, and there was this guy, this ornithologist from Israel, Yossi Leshem, and he was bringing Palestinian and Israeli kids together, and he was showing them how the birds fly from like Iran to Palestine into Israel, and they don't know any boundaries. And he was teaching the kids like about birds. And he was making a point to them, like, you don't have to see these boundaries either. Look at the birds. And I was so influenced by him and so inspired. I went into work the next day, and I went to my mentor at that time. His name was Jim Brett. Really fascinating character. He's a legend in conservation circles around the world, actually. And I told him I watched this documentary last night, and I said, this guy, this ornithologist in Israel, and he was like, Yossi Leshem? I said, yeah. He said, he's my best friend. Hold on. He pulled out his little black book and he dialed. Next thing you know, Yossi Leshem's on the phone inviting me to Israel to work for him. Oh. And I said to Jim, I can't leave. He said, listen, man, you're 35 years old. He just invited you. I'm a big donor. He has to do it. He invited you. Go. And I went. I just dropped everything. I got in trouble with the IRS because I cashed out my pension and didn't pay the tax. But I made a documentary movie over there.
Of all time, yeah.
I made a movie called "Woke Up Alive in Israel."
But wait, so you're married? What did your wife say when you said, "Honey"?
I invited her to come, and she said, "No way, man." But she was cool.
No way. End of the marriage, or no way.
Well, I didn't know how long I was going to stay there. I ended up staying there 2 years. So actually, it was my stepmother, God bless her. She was like, Mark, Linda's here waiting for you. Are you coming back? Because if you're not, you got to tell her, and you got to get your ass home and get a divorce. But this woman was amazing, Linda, though. She was like, Mark, you got to do what you got to do. You're an adventurer.
You didn't have kids?
No.
Okay.
That would have made it a lot more. I would have never went if I had kids, Okay.
Yeah, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more of Mark Blacknell. Fantastic. We'll be back after this.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Dad.
That was us over 10 years ago.
Now LifeVac is responsible for saving over 4,000 lives from choking.
In the time it takes you to pick up the phone and call, another life could be saved.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1 to 2 seconds.
Protecting families has always been our mission. I'm sure you love your family like I love my daughter. Do us all a favor and get your own LifeVac now.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-LifeVac. Order now.
And we're back in the arena with Mark Blacknell, stareatthewall.org. We're learning the fascinating story of his life.
The crazy road that led him.
Yeah, he just said he made a movie. I was thinking his life sounds like a movie so far.
He writes songs. He leaves on the drop of a hat for anything.
Yeah, you asked me if I was impulsive.
I have impulsive written on this piece of paper in big letters. All right, so now
you're
what
in
are we
Israel?
up to? Hawaii? How'd you get to Hawaii from Israel?
Well, no, I was in Israel. I ended up staying there 2 years. I met another woman. I was there during the Second Lebanon War, and all the guys were off fighting. I filmed it, but there were a lot of women around, and I met my second wife, who's my second ex-wife, who I have 2 beautiful children with. We co-parent brilliantly. I can only say good things about her, but I met her there, and the IRS actually found me on the kibbutz. I came back to the kibbutz one day, and the office manager was like, Mark,
never heard that.
I got a call.
Right? A kibbutz is like where you live. It's a commune, right?
Well, it's an agricultural community.
Yeah.
Where everybody works. I picked avocados at one point. Yeah. Well, there were a lot of hippies there, actually, but
was you back in Israel, or are you back in the States?
No, this is in Israel, in the kibbutz.
The
IRS found me.
Wow,
they're good. They're good.
They are. And the guy said, "Hey, Mark, this woman from the IRS called you. She said that you have to call her back, or you won't be allowed back in the country." I said, "Oh man, okay,
outstanding."
So I called her, and this woman, all she asked about was Israel. Have you been to the Sea of Galilee? She was a Christian. And I was like, yeah, I hang out at the Sea of Galilee every day. You know, I'm always down there. Beautiful. I told her about this cave where Job healed himself. And she was like, all right, Mark, we're going to work something out. I'm going to make this manageable for you. So she set me up on this amazing payment plan, you know, with practically nothing. So I was settled there, but then my student loan deferment ran out.
Oh,
The GI bill back then was terrible. It
really?
was not like it is today. Yeah.
Didn't get
It
support.
was only $400 a month you got from the GI bill.
And Clarion
that was
wasn't
it.
free.
No.
Well, you're living in a kibbutz. I don't think.
Well, I got a master's degree at Widener University. That's private. That was a lot more expensive. So I owed all that money, and the deferment was up. So I didn't want my credit to go to, you know, hell. So I said, listen, I can't make enough money in Israel. This was my ex, Orit. I said, I got to move back to the States. She said, I'm not going to the States. And I said, well, what if I get a job on the island of Maui in Hawaii? She said, maybe. You got to understand, I had a beard, like hair down to here. I was like a hermit, you know. I was pretty much homeless at one point in Israel. Those people treated me great, by the way. But
I believe it.
I mean, they made me part of the tribe, you know.
Right.
But she didn't believe I could get a job, but she didn't know anything about veterans preference with the federal government and all that. So I ended up getting a job at Haleakala National Park in Maui. And then I ended up working for the VA in their mental health, rural mental health program. So I got to travel all over the Pacific. But the VA job opened up because when my ex was pregnant with my daughter, I said, I got to get help, man. You know, I got to go get help.
You're drinking, drugging the whole time. You're still getting.
Well, I was drugging. I was never really, maybe some pot, you know, but still drinking. But I was still a mess. Like inside, I was just hyper vigilant. I couldn't sleep. I had anxiety all the time. I mean, I identified with it all the time. You know, it was constant battle. So I said, if I'm going to be a father, man, I got to go get help. So I walked in this vet center, and there was this Dr. Evans there. Vet centers are separate from the VA. They're part of the VA, but they're primarily for combat and guys that have seen some stuff, you know? So I walked in, and there's this guy, Dr. Evans. He's like, how can I help you? I said, something's wrong with me, man. I need help. And that's how it all started, going in there.
Right. And now there's different routes, and everything's a plague or can be a help.
Right.
Medication, therapy. Obviously,
I went through it all. Medication and meditation go really well together. I'm living proof of that. So I went through the therapy, prolonged exposure, relived all the traumatic events. That was 18 weeks, I think. And then I continued going to counseling. It took me like a year to get the right meds. You know, meds, they give you meds, but that doesn't mean they're going to work. You got to stick with it.
You're not. Yeah.
Got to get the right cocktail.
You got to get the right combo. My combo ended up being really simple and mild, luckily, you know. And then I got, pardon me?
Do you mind? We're HIPAA approved. Do you mind sharing?
I just take a little Wellbutrin, and I'm trying to remember the one I take at night. It's this tiny little thing, and you know, it just helps me sleep and stuff. But I thought about going off it, but in my experience helping people to learn meditation and help them keep a routine, I saw people start to feel better after they meditated for like 6 months, and then they would quit their meds and the whole thing would fall apart.
Because they thought they could go without
they thought the meditation was going to cure them, and that's not the way it works.
Why'd you want to jump off the meds? Was there side effects, or you just
it's like a stigma, you know? I was like, hey man, here I am, this, you know, meditator, and everybody's coming to me for, you know, to help them. Why do I, you know? So I thought about it, but then, you know what? No way, man. It works.
Meds and meditation. Good.
Yeah. I'm not real. The stigmas, I don't care. So now I'm an advocate. I go out and I say, you know, don't quit your meds. Find the right meds. Stick with it.
And keep meditating. Yeah.
Find some help. Find some help. That's the first step. Like when I walked into that vet center, that was the first step. I had no clue where that was going to lead. If I overthought it, I would have never walked in, or if I felt shame or whatever. But that's really what started changing everything.
And the first meditation that you're exposed to is what type?
It was called Vipassana. It was in Israel, actually.
Okay.
So the people in Israel are, it's not like what you see on television, really. There's some really amazing people there. And they were all meditating in the kibbutz and around the area. And I just, started doing it with them. And I wasn't real serious about it. I didn't get serious about it until about 10 years later. I read a book. It was called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. A buddy of mine who ended up being my teacher, he referred me to it. And I read like the first 3 pages of this book. I was really skeptical after living in Maui. Maui is like a mecca of new age spirituality. Yeah. And I always thought the people there were a little hypocritical. They're trust fund kids, they're wealthy people, and they're judging everybody else. And I didn't really like the spiritual community there. Nothing against Maui. Hey, I'm not saying anything, but I saw some crazy stuff there. Impractical stuff that a kid from Delaware County could not relate to. So I was kind of turned off to it all until I read this book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, by a guy, Suzuki Roshi. He's this old Japanese guy. He died in 1971, but he didn't really write the book. His students took his lectures and made a book out of it. But he basically said, hey, listen, dude, you can do it, in a Japanese, very Zen monk-like way. Put the book down and just try it like you're doing. Just stare at the wall, give it a try, see what happens. And I'll keep talking for another, however much you want me to, but just put the book down and try it. You'll be surprised. He didn't promise anything. Like, he didn't say it's going to make you calm, it's going to make you do this.
Yes, there's no roadmap. Everyone's different. There's just no roadmap. It's just everyone
yourself.
Just stare. Okay, all right.
So stop your life cold, sit still, and face it. Take it, and then you end up being your own teacher.
Right. So your book came out of other programs being too complicated, or?
Well, I got in big trouble for that book. In fact, I usually wear a green vest that indicates I'm a Zen Buddhist teacher, but I stopped wearing it because my teacher, his what's called a Dharma heir, like his second in command, the establishment does not like this. They don't like that I'm simplifying it and being inclusive, and they don't like that I work with athletes. And I work with athletes.
You work with athletes, you work with prisoners, inmates.
Yeah. Well, but they didn't like how I simplified everything and that I went out there and put myself out to help people. They think it's not in line with the tradition. So I just said, okay, I'm not in the tradition anymore. I won't call myself Zen. I won't wear the vest. I won't mention you, my teacher. I won't mention any of it because I've been doing this for years. Like, I started working with athletes because I coached kids soccer. And I taught them, junior high and high school kids. I called it focus drills because I didn't want anyone to think I was preaching or being religious, because religion has nothing to do with this. It's not Buddhism. It is. I mean, that's who I learned from, but it doesn't mean a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim can't meditate. It crosses all channels. In fact, Jesus, Muhammad, Abraham, they all meditated. Meditation is key.
What about, Mark? What about transcendental meditation? Or am I saying that correct?
I don't know much about that. Like, I don't really know much about the other forms or anything. Like I said, I just stare at the wall.
Yeah. And as I'm starting to do it, I'm 2 days in, and you witnessed some of the practice in my posture and corrected me. Thank you. But what about, I have a couple questions. Is there a mantra, or is there any attention to what you're thinking about when you stare at the wall?
All you do is just pay attention to what's happening, whatever it is. thought, a feeling, a bird chirps, whatever.
Peripheral.
Just watch yourself like you're watching Netflix, but only you're watching you. And don't worry about anything else. Just do it. And soon, if you stick with it, I mean, you know, and if you do 2 weeks of 5 straight, contact me. I'll tell you what to do next. But it all depends on the person. But just do it and just watch.
Yeah. Let's give the website. It's stareatthewall.org. You can watch a video where Mark very well, very succinctly demonstrates and explains the process and how to do it. It's very simple, and you can get started. You don't need any, you know, equipment or anything else.
You started with transcendental meditation?
I went to a transcendental meditation meeting with my son a few years ago, and it seemed kind of strange. They lost us at the point where they wanted to have a mantra whispered into our ear, and it was quite a bit of money to get a personalized.
Yeah, this is free. I do everything for free.
Right.
That's why we have you on the show. That you're that kind of guy. No, seriously. I mean, you know, we're not looking for
not in it
people
for the money.
Well, people ask me, you know, why do you do it? I don't do it. This is what I say. I do it for myself first because it's wonderful to help people. I mean, it's a fulfilling life. It's wonderful. I mean, I got an amazing life.
Yeah, you're like, you used to be a Marine. Now you're like a great dude. You're like,
well, that's funny. My son and I were watching Avatar, and there's the bad Marine on the movie Avatar. He's like this really nasty guy killing everybody. And he looked at me and he said, "Dad, I can't believe you were a Marine. You're too nice of a guy." And that was like the ultimate compliment. I was like, wow.
That shows how far you've come too. Now, what marriage is he from? 7, 8?
No, I've only been married twice. Stop it.
Oh, twice?
He's from the Israelis.
Okay, you had a son and daughter with your wife.
And I've been divorced for 10 years, so I didn't go back there. I learned.
Yeah, but you said you're co-parenting. You're a big part of your kids' lives, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I have them half the time, and she has them half the time. And I mean, I'm really proud of them. They're turning out to be cool kids, you know.
Dual citizenship, I guess, with
my daughter does, but I think we're going to revoke it because if she sticks with that, she's going to have to go back to Israel and serve in the military.
In 2 years, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and I don't think, you know,
make her an American.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah. That's a good dad.
Things are a little too tense over there, right?
Well, yeah,
always have been.
Yeah, we're getting a taste of what they've been going through for 100 years since 1949.
So with this not being, I guess it's not the main source of income for you. How do you pay the bills?
Well, I went in to volunteer with senior citizens, right? Plus I got VA, you know, disability. I got a pension from the federal government, you know, so that's good. And then I went in to volunteer. I always wanted to work with, you know, seniors because especially people in assisted living, you know, it's tough for them to be dropped off there by their family and they lose everything and they're grieving and they're losing their health and they're losing their minds to an extent. So I went in and I met this fabulous woman, Christine, and she just was like, I got to have you, man. She's like, I want to pay you. But the deal is you got to drive that huge bus. You can teach meditation, you know, you can sing to them, you can do what you like. But the deal is if you're going to get paid, you got to drive that huge bus. At first I was like, no way. But then I fell in love with the place, you know,
that's awesome.
I fell in love with the residents.
Yeah. Mark, we're going to take a quick break. Can you stick around?
Absolutely.
We'll be back with more Mark Blacknell after this.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
She wasn't breathing.
Then Ray reached for the LifeVac and it saved her.
She could have easily died that day. A LifeVac saved her life. What I would say is don't need a LifeVac and not have it. Have a LifeVac and hopefully never need it.
Recently, the American Red Cross has added anti-choking devices as an option when standard protocol fails or is not feasible.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
Welcome back in the arena. My name is Rick Fatscher. It has been the entire evening. Pat O'Rourke joins, and we are blessed to be talking to Mark Blacknell. Stare at the wall. Just stare at the wall. I hear it different ways, but it's so simple. Anyone can do it.
You were worried about filling the time before we started.
Yeah. I worry about a lot of things.
Well, keep staring at the wall. You won't worry. Well, I can't make any promises, but if you keep doing it, I think you'll notice something. Actually, I didn't notice any difference after about 6 months. I mean, I felt good, but it was the same old business. It was other people that started to notice, like friends and family. They're like, "What's up with you, man? You seem calm." Yeah, but I didn't tell them anything because I didn't want, my mother saying, "Oh my God, he joined a cult." So I didn't just say anything. I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it over the years, and now it's my whole life.
Yeah, and talk about your work with inmates.
Well, it started with my experience. I got thrown in jail on a violent felony, assaulting a police officer.
This is prior to your meditation work.
Actually, it was in the beginning. Not the beginning. No, it was more towards the middle. And in fact, my teacher told me, "Dude, are you still drinking?" And I said, "I have a few every now and again." He's like, "I'm telling you, man, don't meditate and drink. It's dangerous. Don't do it." I didn't listen to him. Well, I woke up in Pinellas County, chained to the wall, naked, not knowing how the hell I got there. And I met the inmates. And by the end of I was showing them all how to meditate, by the way. And then towards the end, they were calling me Little Buddha. And they actually cheered when I left. And something in my heart, like, I just felt for these guys. They were uneducated, most of them. They were on something that they couldn't get off, and they were in this system, and they didn't have money to even bail themselves out. And they were sitting in there for like 9 months because they didn't have, $100, stuff like that. I heard all these stories, man. And I thought, when I get out of this, which I will, I'm going to go back in there. And I ended up in death row. I watched this documentary about this guy. I just saw something in him. He was different, and he admitted it. And I just thought this guy was intelligent. And even the DA, pardon me?
He admitted to the crime?
Yeah. And he wanted to be put to death. He's like, "I deserve it." So I saw something different in this guy. So I snail mailed him and just said, "Hey, man, you said in this documentary that you're interested in reality." I said, "If you're serious, I got a little reality for you." And he wrote back. Now they have email and phone calls and video chats. And I've gone up to see him to correct his posture like I did yours. And this guy has really changed. I mean, even the people in the prison, the officials, they know this guy changed. And he helps other people now. That's like his whole thing. In fact, we were talking the other day about, before Christmas, who was alone and had nothing and needed a present. So we're doing all this unofficial, cool stuff. And the prison loves it. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Price is Right.
Yeah, free.
Why? I'm a little confused. You can take meds and meditate, but don't drink and meditate. It's dangerous. Well, do you have violent reaction to it?
I think it's because you're so focused when you're meditated, and you're so here. You're not in control. You can't control what's running through your head sometimes. Things come, memories come, worries come, feelings come. But most of the time, like right now, I'm with you guys. I'm not thinking about anything else. Nothing else is coming through. It's just you. It's just
present.
And when you drink, it takes control. Right. When you do anything like that, it messes it all up. So you're not like really prepared anymore to be drunk.
Okay.
It's like you're first started drinking all over again, and you can't handle your booze anymore. That's what he meant. Yeah.
Okay.
And so now, are you sober all the time? Can you drink occasionally?
Yeah, I have a few every now and again socially, but I'm extremely careful. You know, I don't really enjoy it because I'm so careful. You know, like, oh, this is making me
Yeah,
feel
you
weird,
worry about it. It
man.
doesn't relax you.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I get
yeah.
it.
Why do it? Like
Yep.
pot too. You know,
Yep.
it doesn't relax me. Why would I smoke pot if it doesn't relax me? You know, what's the point of it?
Mark, for someone listening who's afraid of what they might find if they stop and reflect, what would you say to those people?
Well, they have a point because sometimes it can be torture. You know, even now I've been doing it all these years. Sometimes it's hard. It's really hard. But I think the point of it is if you do it, you'll get used to the the fear. In fact, you'll become familiar with it. And then your body, not necessarily your mind, but your body will teach you how to work with it and cope with it and actually use it, you know, for positive things.
Yeah.
So I would just say stick with it and be fearless. You know, all you're doing is just sitting there staring at a wall. You're not like rushing into a firefight or, you know, you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
I
Nothing
mean,
bad can happen. How
exactly.
does it matter if it's different times of the day, or should you have a routine and have it a
Yeah,
certain time of the day?
it'd be better in the morning because then you can carry that through, you know, the whole day. It really does help you
Right.
cope with it.
And
You
you're
know,
saying
because
day nine is a tricky part for the first
day
15.
9, yeah, I've never had anybody do it right away, but I've had people call me 3 years later and say, "Hey, I saw you in a bar, a restaurant, and you taught me, and now I've done my 2 weeks. What do I do next?" You know? So
Well, I know
keep
you're
it in the back just keep it in the back of your mind. You're not a failure, you know, if you don't do it, but just always keep it
right.
there.
And if something happens and you miss, you start again. And you
Exactly.
get
And
it.
the
And
thing is like I've been doing it all these years, but every day I sit down, I'm starting again because I feel different. It's different every single solitary time. So really, I'm beginning again every single time I do it, you know?
Mm. Does
So
it
I'm not a
escalate? Does it escalate after is it 14 days, correct?
Oh, don't look ahead. I don't want to
Just be
don't
there
look
for the 5 minutes.
just do the 5 minutes. If you can do the 5 minutes, let me know. And it all depends on the individual. What the individual says to me determines what I tell them to do next. You know, if they tell me Buddha came with flowers, you know, and now they're enlightened,
You're
I
ready.
say, you know, I tell them one thing. But if they say, "Oh man, I did it," even though it was, you know, I didn't really understand what I was doing, or I felt like, then, you know, it's a different course of action depending on what the person says.
Right. I hope I have good news for you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Pat, you
I'm
willing
gonna have to
give it
track you. I'll try it, but I'm gonna start on day 9.
Yes.
I'm joking.
If there's one takeaway that you hope people carry with them after engaging with your work, what would it be?
I would say, you know, we're balanced, like everything in nature, a tree, the planet, everything actually is balanced. There's no way for us to exist. We couldn't even be having this conversation unless our bodies were balanced enough, you know, balanced. You hear balanced diet, you hear balanced this, balanced that. But human beings,
Work-life balance.
work-life balance. Yeah. You hear a lot of balance, but in this sense, you're putting yourself in a balanced position every day. You're doing it. You're not like considering it. You're actually balanced when you do it, right?
Hmm.
Every animal, tree, plant, blade of grass, insect is balanced. They know it though. That's the difference between human beings and the rest of the natural world. The rest of the natural world knows it. We can think we're not balanced, but actually we are. So all meditation does is prove it to you that you're balanced. And then if you do it enough, you realize, I'm balanced. And then you can help other people, you know, get balanced.
That's what he hopes to
That's
do.
simple.
Simple plan, and I think I can follow it. Mark Blacknell, we thank you so much. Stareatthewall.org. Go to his website.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
We'll give you an update in 2
You're a
weeks.
friend
Mark.
in the arena.
Oh man, I would love it. I would love it. It makes me cry when people tell me they've done it the 2 weeks, man. I really do. I cry because I know it's going to change their lives if they stick with it.
Well,
Nice.
now I gotta do it. Now I'm in.
We thank you so much.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Day 9.
We'll be in touch. We're going to have you back in the arena. Thanks so much, Mark Blacknell.
Thank you, guys.
StareAtTheWall.org. And we're going to be back with Mr. Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000, after this.
Ben Carson here with a potentially life-saving message. I may be a retired neurosurgeon, but trying to help save lives is something I'll never stop doing. Every year, this world loses around 5,000 lives that could have been saved from choking accidents. That's why I've partnered with LifeVac, a company based right here in the USA. It's simple to use, can be used on adults and children, plus it's guaranteed for life. Most importantly, if you ever have to use it in an emergency, they replace it for free. Join me on my mission to ensure every home, business, restaurant, and school in this country has a LifeVac. Go to the LifeVac.net and order your very own life-saving device today. Thank you.
Welcome back in the arena. My name is Rick Fatscher, and here with Patrick O'Rourke, and we were talking with Mark Blacknell of Stare at the Wall.
I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to stare at a wall. Roadshow's doing it too.
It's all about meditation. It's a real simple approach. He simplified what could.
It's like Seinfeld. It's just think about nothing. Just stare at the wall.
It's exactly what I thought of when I first was exposed to it. Think about nothing, stare at the wall, and it's easy. 5 minutes a day.
But what's this
transcendental meditation is the one that I learned about listening to Howard Stern. Jerry Seinfeld's a big proponent, and I heard more and more people giving it so much.
What do they do? What do you think about with that one?
Well, you have it's a process. I would be
and each person
unable to
each
describe
person gets
it.
a mantra though.
Yeah, each person gets a mantra, and that's what you do.
You're
breathing.
Still fat. You're
no,
still
it's like
fat.
Om is one of the universal ones. Om.
Oh, okay.
Om. And look, much more structure. They have centers, and they have. I mean, it's very organized. A lot more organized and complicated, and that's why people like Mark Blacknell wants the technology, but wants to make it accessible to everyone. He brings it to prisons. He brings it to students, and it's there's so much good that he's doing.
It's a starting point. Yep.
Yeah. But you know, this time each week,
favorite part of the show,
from Mr. 3000.
Hey, all you LifeVackers out there. Good evening.
Good evening, Ray.
Raymond.
Hey, Ray, you ever meditate?
Only when I close my eyes at night.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a song?
That's it. Yep. And it usually only lasts an hour or two. Yeah, it's great. It works out well.
Fantastic.
I can't tell if he's serious.
No. He probably does. I do the same.
No, yeah. I sleep like every other parent out there.
Yes,
very lightly.
Very lightly.
Exactly. 3:30 every night.
Yes.
I had that for a long time.
Absolutely. So we got some exciting news here. We got some great numbers. I think Bobby does have a slide for us.
Well, wait. I say
here it comes. 3, 2, 5,277 lives, of which 3,193 are children.
Well,
50 this week.
Maybe, just maybe that happens to be wrong. I'm going to throw a new number out there tonight. We have 5,279 saves with 3,194 children.
Wow.
What is our best week ever? Because that's 51.
So we have just today alone, we have 6 saves today.
Wow. This thing is really working.
It's absolutely running away from us. And again, you know, I'm Mr. 3000. I used the device on my daughter October 20th, 2024, not that long ago. And since then, you know, I'm number 2,279 saves since October 20th, 2024. That is 450 days. It's just the numbers are increasing by the day as it goes. Again,
and that's reported.
Yes, that's reported saves, because God only knows that we probably have several thousand unreported saves.
I would think so. Once you start getting up here and everyone doesn't call in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, the more devices we get out there, the more the number is going to increase on a daily basis. It's just how it's going to go.
We had 51 this week. What's the weekly record?
Oh, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I will look into that, and I will have that report next week for you.
Yes. We're breaking records. Weekly.
We are breaking records. Speaking of breaking records, I have an absolute amazing highlight this week. Yesterday, a 2-year-old boy from Virginia choked on a banana, resulting in total obstruction. Protocol was followed, and LifeVac was used once. Here's the mother's testimony. Tonight, I gave my 2-year-old a banana to eat, something I've done countless times before. But this time was different. In a matter of seconds, I turned around and realized he was choking. What started as him struggling to breathe turned into me feeling like I was frozen in my body. Thankfully, my husband acted immediately with tradition.
We have a little bit of delay.
Yeah.
I think traditional methods.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back on. Yep. Go ahead.
To grab the LifeVac. With one quick push and pull, the banana was dislodged. Our son began breathing again. Those are my favorite words, by the way.
Yep.
I've seen the LifeVac many times over the years through commercials, news stories, and testimonials. We bought ours over 3 years ago when our daughter was born, hoping we'd never need it. Tonight, we are forever grateful we had it. This experience is a powerful reminder that these products we sometimes scroll past or assume we'll never need can matter more than we can ever imagine. Thank you to my amazing husband for responding calmly, and to LifeVac for helping save my 2-year-old son's life.
That's a great one.
Powerful stuff.
Yes.
Wow. Just, and again, the elegance of her words are so great. You know, we constantly look at devices, never thinking we'd need them until the moment comes when we do need them.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing.
Really amazing. And we're gonna see you.
You are gonna see me real soon.
That's gonna be awesome. Coming to New York.
I can't wait. I had to go buy a jacket. You know, here in Florida, we have sweaters.
Yeah, exactly. We can maybe, if you can rent one from us, maybe we'll get you something. We have plenty of sweatshirts.
That story must, they always remind you of saving Princess Maya, but same age, right?
Maya was 3.
Okay.
Maya was 3, so she was a little bit older, but probably a little smaller because Maya, she's a tiny one.
Mm.
She is a tiny one. But she is super excited about coming to New York just to see the snow. So
we'll see if we can,
work that up for her.
Hopefully there's some snow for us. But on that note, I'll leave you with my famous words of wisdom. LifeVac. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. The life you save could be your own, could be a kid, could be a stranger. Who knows? Get a LifeVac. Love you guys, and God bless.
Great stuff. Right. Thanks so much, Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000, Cape Coral, Florida, checks in every week. If you're listening at this point and you don't have a LifeVac, go to lifevac.net. Please. You don't even need to. Go to lifevac.net.
Yeah, just Google
Use the
LifeVac.
code MITA. Get a discount. Protect those you love. Protect your friends, your family. Give it as a gift.
It's like having a gun. You don't want to use it, but you
exactly
want to have it.
Ray said it best.
Yep.
Better to need it
and not
use
it.
Yeah. So
you know what he said. Yeah. You know what he said. Okay.
He said the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got a big date coming up, you and me.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
Fort Myers,
Day,
Florida.
If we have the graphic, we could speak to it.
History, liberty, and laughs.
Yeah. History, liberty, and laughs. We've got Valentine's Day.
Brian wants us writing 6 more skits about the same skits we're already doing. I don't know.
Boy.
We got to talk to him. I don't know what's
it's going to be a lot of work. There it is. Fort Myers, Florida, the History, Liberty, and Laughs Tour. Tickets are going fast. Brian,
yes. There's only a couple left.
Go to briankilmeade.com, get your tickets, and we'll see you in
Fort
Myers.
great Valentine's Day gift. Great way to spend the romantic evening
Yeah,
in Fort Myers.
I don't think of a better way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be romantic, you and I.
Always, always. Romance is always in the air, especially when road shows around.
Well, that's gonna wrap up
Our show for tonight.
Yeah, that wraps up today's conversation here on In the Arena, brought to you by LifeVac. A reminder that preparation, courage, and action can save lives. Our sincere thanks to Mark Blacknell of Stare at the Wall for challenging us to look inward and to, well, Rhonda wasn't here. That's a shame. Yeah.
Maybe next time, though.
For Patrick O'Rourke, I'm Rick Fatscher. Thank you for joining us for Conversations That Matter, where truth isn't filtered, purpose isn't passive, and leadership means stepping forward. Until next time, stay ready, stay engaged, and stay in the arena.
Frank the Tank.
We'll see you next week on In the Arena.
Stay classy, San Diego.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.